So as you can probably tell, this is a proper wet Portimão. However, that will not dilute the fun that I'm about to have, because we are here with Honda to ride their new CBR600 and Fireblade. Now what makes it interesting with this inclement weather for the CBR600 is, in theory, it's never been more suitable to this inclement conditions, because the old CBR600 had a throttle and you went forward. This has got multiple lean sensitive rider rates, so we've got cornering ABS, cornering traction control, slide control. We can change the power delivery. We can make this bike, in theory, as safe as possible, and we've got full race wets. So if the weather gods are on our side, we will get slightly damp, wet conditions this morning. It will dry out, and then we can tailor these rider rates to suit the bike. Well, fingers crossed, and then hopefully this afternoon we can try the Fireblade. But this morning is the CBR600, which I'm really looking forward to riding. So let's go for a couple of laps to Portimão in the wet, on wet. Right, anybody behind? We're all clear. We've got tyre warmers, but they're not the best. As in, they've been sat for a while. Oh, that's drying out, nice. Well, the last session it was absolutely wet. Now it's got much better. Now for me, this is a hugely important bike for 2024 because I've always loved a CBR600, and when they were left in 2017, it was a sad time, but it's back. And although it looks very similar to the old bike, it is different in many ways, and most of that is down to the rider aids and electronics. But no better man to test it than you, Dean. Dean, multiple TT winner, now with Honda, and because we're old friends, you started life racing a CBR600.
I did actually, an 03 CBR600, my first ever racing bike, so jumping back on this actually was like putting an old pair of slippers almost actually.
Yeah.
A few similarities and things like that, but do you know what? It's fantastic, what a bike. It's, you know, to ride around Portimão on a day like today is not the perfect conditions, but it's drying now, which is nice. But no, I've really enjoyed it to be jumping back on this bike, and I'm looking forward to riding it in race trim.
Yeah, what I found interesting was when I jumped on it, it felt like, you know, the 17, 18 bike, but then you remember that, well, that bike was bloody brilliant. You know, it was such a good bike.
There's never actually been a bad CBR600, so that's the hard thing. How do you keep making a bike that's already good even better and better and better? This has got everything, the quick shifter now, auto blip now on this one. That's a massive step forward, I think.
Yep.
Whereas I don't think the 17 one had that.
No.
That corner entry and stuff like that with the auto blip down the box made life so much easier today, especially around places like this when you're on the edge of the tyre. So no, it's just it's a good all-round bike.
What was interesting for me was this morning it was like monsoon, it was biblical rain at times.
Yeah, the weather did get the better of us this morning.
And the old one, when we used to race the old CBRs, you had nothing. And now we've got cornering ABS, we've got cornering traction control, you know, we've got all these rider aids that in 2017 we're not even, I mean, they weren't even on Superbike.
I mean, I noticed dropping down the hill into turn one earlier, I was pulling the brake a little bit too hard, and I did have the ABS pulsing under my fingers a couple of times. And the hazard warning lights are flashing to warn everybody around you that you were braking hard. So no, it's definitely an upgrade, and everything was working and assisting me on the way around.
Yeah. But as I say, the conditions, as we said, aren't brilliant. But obviously you're going to be riding this at the TT and the Northwest. Doing anything in British Supersport?
No, this will be Jack Kennedy's weapon of choice in Supersport, so I definitely think he'll be the man to get it tamed there.
This is going to be fun at Northwest and at the TT.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to going around the island on it. The Isle of Man, I think this carrying its corner speed and the way it goes is going to be a bit of a weapon. Yeah,
I think a lot of people are going to be drawn to the Fireblade, but in many ways, this around Portimão, when you're making it sing, and you're just like,
I always say, as ultimate track bikes go, especially at the price point of the CBR600, you will not get a better bike for the money, and you will guarantee put a smile on your face all day. 10 and a half on the road.
Yeah, so you can have 2 of these or a Fireblade.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
So
You can have a
one
wet
for
and a dry bike.
or one for the road and one for a track day.
That's what I mean. I just think it's the value for money is unbelievable, especially with everything that it's got on it. And you know, because it's a Honda, you're going to be able to ride this round and round and round and round, and just keep putting petrol in this tank here, turn it on, and away you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for your time, Dean.
Cheers, mate.
Looking
Thank you
forward to
very
seeing you at the Northwest on the TT.
Cheers,
mate.
thank you.
So it just started to rain again here in Portimão. So I just wanted to give you a little walk around, show some of the details. So this new exhaust, which is the main reason the bike is now Euro 5 Plus compliant. We've got the new switch gear, we've got the new clocks. Obviously the forks protrude quite a bit through the yoke, just to give you more adjustment. So you've got power modes, you've got traction, you've got wheelie control, you've got engine brake assist. ABS is constant, you can't change the ABS. ABS is always on. It's cornering ABS, which is lean sensitive. The traction is lean sensitive. The wheelie control, because this has got a 6-axis IMU. The old bike, well, the 2021 bike that was available in some countries had a 5, but this has got a 6. And this really makes the 2017 bike look a little bit archaic. The chassis is very much the same as the old bike. Dimensions are pretty much the same. Engine's had a bit of a tweak. In terms of power, we're at 119.4 horsepower at 14,250. And max torque is 46.5 foot-pounds of torque at 11,500. And the price is just over £10,000, which I don't think is a lot of money for this type of bike. And now Honda have got a real nice stepping stone before you get to the Fireblade, because before you had the CBR600RR, and then you went to a Fireblade, which is obviously a huge, massive jump. But now that jump is significantly less, because you can proceed through the bikes, go to the 600, and then from the 600, you can go to the Fireblade. Very much like the old bike, but with all modern standards. So it takes all the good bits of the old bike and then gives it a new technical twist. I hate this corner. Oh, I got it wrong. That's everybody on social media. Oh, stop fine. Yeah, no, we're on it. So we're just kind of coming towards the end of our time on the CBR600. Had a really good chat with Dean about what he thinks the CBR6 is like, which is interesting because me and Dean both started racing together, and he was on a CBR and I was on a Suzuki. And in many ways the CBR600 hasn't changed dramatically. It's still the same frame, it still feels like a CBR600RR, and I guess most people like myself were gutted when the CBR600 was discontinued by Honda, but it's come back. But what the main difference is it's advanced and changed a little bit with the clocks and the switch gear and little bits like that, but it's the ability to now ride it in the wet like we did and patchy conditions and have all those rider aids there in the background working like never before, because you never had them. So this morning it was really sketchy. So we had the ABS on, we had the traction on, and I went for full power, but we could have turned the power down a little bit even further. It's just so much fun. Just really enjoyed it. Didn't feel scared, didn't feel intimidated, just felt involved with the chassis, felt like I knew what was going on, and it felt great underneath me, to the point where I was like, am I really too old? Can I really make a comeback? Can I do some racing? Because that's what I want to do. What a brilliant bike to ride.